back in the kitchen and we're ready for our main course.
Yes, indeed. Tara Walker, author of Good Food No Stress, has stayed with us. Tara, orange and chicken and orange
Chicken
combo.
and orange, like a tray bake.
Okay.
Such a quick,
Lovely.
easy supper. And it can be made ahead of time as well. The one I have in the oven that I'm going to show you now in a sec, I made it yesterday evening.
Marvellous.
So a great one for when you're maybe just coming in from work and, you know, in a hurry or whatever. And actually the mushrooms I made earlier on, they can be made ahead of time as well and just left in the fridge from the day before.
Very good.
So this is a bit of a throw whatever you have in the fridge into it. You know, that's how I first kind of came up with it. So I've got some potatoes. The one thing you want to do is not overload your tray. This isn't a huge tray. So if you have, if you are making enough for maybe 4 to 6 people, just do 2 trays, but sure, it's really quick and easy. And actually, you could even use a foil tray if you were having people over maybe and you didn't want to be washing
really?
them
You
and
don't
scrubbing.
need to parboil a spud, you're going to cook them from
No,
scratch.
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Okay, cool.
But the one thing is just to cut your veg sort of to the size. So obviously potatoes are a bit harder and take longer to cook, so they're cut a bit smaller than the courgette, which is quicker to
Yes,
cook, you know.
okay.
So throw a few of those in, and then we have some red and yellow peppers.
Lovely.
And in they go. I have a tomato there. I'll put those in towards the end. And some nice red onion. And the red onion is absolutely gorgeous. And be generous with that because it caramelizes really
Yeah,
nicely.
a little sweet. Isn't it?
It does bring a lovely flavour, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the same with garlic. I have some garlic cloves here, which I'm just throwing in.
It is a lot of garlic.
But don't forget, it becomes so mellow and
does,
sweet,
yeah.
you know. And you could, even if you couldn't be bothered actually peeling the garlic, just throw the whole clove in. And then you can squeeze it out, which is also pretty easy to do.
Okay.
And then we have our chicken. So I asked my butcher, Garrett's in Termonfeckin, better give him a mention. So I was like, can you give me 3 chickens jointed, please? So they just jointed. You can joint it yourself, obviously, but you know, it saves you a job. So I have thighs, breast on the bone there. I have
chicken
wing,
wings,
yeah, the whole lot. In they go. And just obviously
And
be
you know what,
careful
it
with the
is
raw
one
chicken.
of those jobs that you could probably do yourself, but your butcher, that's what they do, and that's
Absolutely,
just,
and you know,
they're happy
it just
to do it
saves
for
you a job, exactly,
Yeah.
and the whole thing, no stress, you know. So now I'm going to squeeze some orange on and throw
Not a
it in then.
combination that would spring to my mind.
Not at all, no.
Orange and
no.
chicken.
Yeah, I actually love this combination. Like sometimes if I didn't have an orange in my bowl, in my fruit bowl, I might throw some balsamic vinegar in instead.
Right.
So it's just for the bit of acidity, you know. But it's quite nice and light for a summery dish. That's why I like the orange in it. So
And you're going to
squeezing
leave
that
the
over.
segments in there as well,
Yeah,
so
I'm
they
just
become
kind of-
even jammy almost.
Exactly,
don't they?
and what will happen is the juices from the vegetables and the chicken will mix with
Lovely.
the olive oil, which I'm about to put
Nice.
on, and the orange
I'm
juice.
amazed that the whole thing is raw. Even the potatoes are going in
Yeah.
and
From
they're
scratch,
not
yeah.
they're not boiled at all.
So quick to do. And then a couple of nice vine cherry tomatoes going on. And plenty of salt and pepper. You do need to season it well.
Okay.
And then a good bit of... I'm using the rock salt here, the fleur de sel or Malden or something like that. And then some rosemary and thyme I have in the garden. But whatever woody herbs you have. I have oregano as well, so sometimes I'd put a bit of
There's
oregano
just a
in.
bit of chopping in this, and away you go. Chuck it on. the pan,
Exactly.
isn't it?
So I call it... It's actually in a chapter called 10-minute meals in the book. But I know it's not really 10 minutes because it takes half an hour to
Yeah,
cook.
yeah.
But it's really only 5 or 10 minutes of work,
Prep.
really. You
And
know.
no stock,
Yeah.
water, nothing
No,
like that.
just like that, because you're getting all the nice juices in there.
It's a really good,
Yeah.
nutritious dish, isn't it?
It's great. And to serve with that, then, look, I know everybody knows their own little French dressing recipe, but since I want to do one anyway, a little bit of Dijon mustard. I have a clove of garlic, and we've got gorgeous Drummond House garlic, which is local to us in Baltray. Fresh garlic there. It's really fabulous. It's
I
much
wouldn't
lighter.
have thought of putting a clove of garlic in there.
yeah.
Into the dressing.
Yeah, and I didn't grate it or chop it or anything like that because I don't want it to be in my mouth, if you know what I mean. I don't want to actually eat the garlic. I just want to
want to flavour
infuse
the
the
oil.
flavour.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
And then I have my lovely Stamine Farm apple cider vinegar, which is, I don't know if you know Dan Kelly's cider.
No.
So all of these producers will be at the Maritime Festival next week. They're all from the
Very
Boyne
good.
Valley Food Series, which is where we're based.
Right.
And it's so nice to use
It's
local
great to have
produce
some,
if we can.
but you have such good
Yeah,
local produce
absolutely.
around.
And
We're
it's
lucky.
important to support all of those independent
Absolutely, because you
food
want
producers.
them to survive and thrive, you know.
I love this method of making it.
Yeah,
Great.
so
There
just
you go.
my vinegar, my oil, my salt, pepper, and a little bit of
Done.
Dijon mustard done. And I love this. These leaves. These are like the butterhead lettuce, the old-fashioned butterhead lettuce, and I love using those. So save your garlic back, pop that on, and that's really nice and fresh with the chicken. You know, because the chicken is quite a rich dish, I suppose, really when it comes
and
out.
this will cut through it nicely. won't it?
Exactly. So let's have a look.
Oh, it
I've
smells
had
good.
this in about half an hour in the oven, so you can see here. and lovely and crispy on the chicken. I checked a little bit there a few minutes ago before we went on air to make sure it was cooked through. And now, let's have a taste. So you can have a little bit of everything,
all right,
which is
then,
nice.
Tara, if you insist.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it on behalf of the nation.
Just research, really,
And-
isn't it?
I had 2 pieces of that mushroom earlier on, and I'm
garden.
stuffed.
How long did you have that in, Tara?
About half an hour.
Half
you know,
an hour, okay.
Depends on the sizes of the pieces of chicken, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But look at all that lovely juice in there. Like, that's nearly
yeah.
like a little gravy you have in
Come
there.
on.
Yeah, and
So you should
nice-
always use that juice.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Pop the juice on.
That's got
And-
everything in that. The orange juice, the garlic,
Exactly.
the red onions.
And you can
Come
accompany
on.
with some of the nice leaves. There we go.
Marvellous.
Plenty of colour.
And then one for Annie. You better do
Yes,
one for Annie as well.
absolutely.
Here, you stuck in
I'll
there,
be
Annie.
doing well. It looks great, Tara, and very nutritious and
amazing.
healthy.
Yeah, and so quick. I mean, it really is such a
Back to you, Millie.
handy, quick one to
Thank
do.
you, Simon. And I suppose you could kind of interchange those ingredients depending on what you have in your own fridge, Tara.
Absolutely, like any bits of leftover veg. It's actually great when you know those little bits of ends of veg that you might have in the drawer. It's a great way to use those up because
the
you give
recipe
them
in the
great
book,
flavour.
Tara?
It is in the book,
Okay.
of course, yeah.